would rise up on the streets, and then they would declare an American victory. So that's what Trump was hoping for. And now that it's turned into a war of attrition, Trump doesn't really like the optics of this. And so I can imagine the next few weeks that he declares an invasion of Cuba in order to secure a quick, easy victory in order to boost American morale. And quite honestly, if he were to attack Cuba, it's very hard for Cuba to resist an American invasion. And it's very possible that in the next few weeks he orders in an attack against Cuba in order to conduct regime change. And after Cuba, you might have Greenland, you might have Canada, you might have Mexico. So unfortunately, it seems as though America is very much intent on maintaining its empire primarily through the use of force.
Since when did it become just normal? He's just saying it like as if it's like to be expected, you know? So he already attacked Venezuela. He went after Iran. Next is going to be Cuba, then maybe Canada, then maybe Greenland. It's like, what is going on here? Like, are we like in a clown world? Like,
the United States will have no choice but to institute a military draft for young people. So starting December, as you know, all young men will be automatically registered for the Secret Service. And this is a precondition for the draft. So I think a draft is very much.
So let me know, y'all, like if you're gonna sign up for like a draft, let me know in the chat. Like, are you actually like in a hurry to go line up for a draft? Let me know, really. Like, you want to go defend a country that has treated you the way it has, a country that has made it unaffordable for you to own homes, a country that has prioritized foreign wars against their initial promise. Is that who you want to go fight for? I mean, like, just let me know, guys. Let me know, y'all. Let me know. Like, you know, like, imagine going to fight for a country that has pretty much has a president who is betraying and spitting in the face of his supporters, doing the exact opposite of what he said he would do. Now you're going to go fight for that same country, fight for that same man. You know what I say? Right after Baron is there, he's 6'10", right? As a big guy that he is. Right after he's in the front line there, then we'll be right behind him. How about that?
There are many powerful forces behind the idea of a national draft. For Palantir, a national draft is great because it allows them to create a surveillance state. It allows them to track everyone's movement. So that's my second prediction. There'll be a national draft. My third prediction is that at some point we'll see the destruction of the Al-Aqsa Mosque. It'll be a false flag. It might be that an Iranian missile flies through Israeli airspace, and then suddenly, you know, the Al-Aqsa Mosque is imploded, very much like 9/11. And the Israelis will blame the Iranians will blame the Israelis. But if that were to happen, then we can see a religious war break out throughout the world.
Exactly. So Israel will all in with a false flag. I'm sure you've seen this, Professor. It's one of your data points. They've had top Israeli officials on TV say, we ought to blow up that mosque that's built on top of the Second Temple to trigger this religious war and force America to fully back us. I mean, this is crazy town.
Look, like all the elements are in place to create the third temple, right? So they have the red heifers, these perfect red heifers that were genetically engineered in Texas. They've been flown into Israel, and so they've been sacrificed to consecrate the grounds for the third temple.
Yeah, they already sacrificed one right by the temple.
Right, and they have conducted archaeological surveys of Al-Aqsa Mosque for the past 2 years, and people speculate that what they're really doing is they're planting bombs for controlled demolition on the Al-Aqsa Mosque. Benjamin Netanyahu has visited the Al-Aqsa Mosque and said that it's entirely possible that the Iranians will blow this up because they are crazy people. You have a Jewish rabbi in Israel say, wouldn't it be wonderful if the Al-Aqsa Mosque was blown up by the Iranians, because then the Arabs and the Persians would go at each other, and these animals would just kill each other off. So you have, and then the Jewish something called the Temple Institute has already actually built the third temple brick by brick, and all they have to do is just move that temple onto the grounds of the Al-Aqsa Mosque. So you have all the ingredients in place for a false flag operation and for the destruction of the Al-Aqsa Mosque.
You mentioned Cuba. I was told by my sources, I'll leave it.
False flags, right? Like, what do you guys think about the false flag that happened? Or the alleged false flag, potentially. Maybe not a false flag, but a stand down on October 7, right? Some people argue that Israel could have easily stopped the attacks on October 7, but they allowed it to happen just so that they can have a justification. Even some people even argue that actually Israel, this is arguments, right? No proof, but they're actually funding some of these Iran proxies, right? Like the Hamas, right? That Israel actually funding them. So just imagine if that were actually true. Wouldn't that be kind of a false flag already that they're already doing? So it looks like they're already playing dirty. So I think I completely agree with the professor here. And I think it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when this is going to escalate. Because I don't think Israel are going to let this, I don't think Israel is going to let peace to reign. I think they really want what they want. And if they don't get what they want, then they're just going to keep on pressing and pressing and pressing. That's what I think. Now, what is their end goal? Your guess is as good as mine.
At that months ago, that when this Iran war fails, because the Pentagon believed it would, this is right out of Tampa, Florida, where it's all run. They said next Trump, if that fails, is planning to go into Cuba. Now, they've met, the CIA met with them 3 weeks ago. They said, we may give them Raul Castro, kind of like Venezuela, they leave the vice president in charge or something. But yeah, no, I can tell you right now, Trump is seriously considering an invasion of Cuba as a distraction from the Iran failure. You were kind of predicting that. Give us your take on that, sir.
Right. So I think that what Trump didn't recognize was that a war against Iran would turn out into a war of attrition. He really believed when he first attacked Iran, that would be very much like Venezuela, where it's a decapitation strike, where the regime is extremely unpopular. And
I'm going to have to disagree with the professor. And I know you're going to look at me and say, what do you know? How can you disagree with this highly qualified guy? But I just don't believe him. I just don't agree with him when he says that the Americans really thought that Iran were going to be anything like Venezuela. Because even the American intelligence warned DJT about this. So I think the American knew that Iran are not Venezuela, and they went in anyways. So, and they also knew that Iran's retaliation was going to be to block the Strait of Hormuz, because Iran had said that that's what they're going to do. They also knew that Iran were going to attack their neighbors, because that's what Iran said that they were going to do. So for him to sit here and say that they thought Iran were like Venezuela, I don't agree with that. I think that they knew very well what they were doing. And I think this is just to coax Iran into doing something stupid and then disrupting their own region, and so that the US can swoop in and take over all of that business. And rumor has it that that's actually what DJT was discussing with China when he went there last week, I believe, was to discuss how they're going to start buying LNG from the US because of the shortage in Qatar, the ones coming in from Qatar right now. So they have to now talk with the US. This is all rumors. I don't know this for sure, but let me know in the chat if you've heard about any of these.
Would rise up on the streets, and then they would declare an American victory. So that's what Trump was hoping for. And now that it's turned into a war of attrition, Trump doesn't really like the optics of this. And so I can imagine the next few weeks that he declares an invasion of Cuba in order to secure a quick, easy victory in order to boost American morale. And quite honestly, if he were to attack Cuba, it's very hard for Cuba to resist an American invasion.
Since when did it become just normal? He's just saying it like as if it's like to be expected, you know? So he already attacked Venezuela. He went after Iran. Next is going to be Cuba, then maybe Canada, then maybe Greenland. It's like, what is going on here? Like, are we like in a clown world? Like, since when did it become okay to just go and invade other countries overtly? You know, before at least we'll pretend to be civilized. But now it looks like all bets are off, gloves are off, and it's Fight Club. Crazy.